business model. Okay, so 29,843. That is the average owed by every UK adult, including mortgages, which accounts to be around about 128% of average earnings. Where we are today, there's a little cartoon here saying happy retirement. I'm having my leaving do now, as I'll be too old to party by the time I retire. So just setting the scene, what kind of situation are we in at the moment? We're in a global credit crunch. There's a lot of debt floating around, and the UK total was around about £2,252.1 billion in the UK. Got fewer jobs, people are having to work for longer, there are government cutbacks, and there seems to be this lack of skills that they keep talking about in the marketplace. There was a small article in the London Evening Standard work. Now, valuable skills in the 21st century. Anyone who's able to add value to a company, be that as an employee or in starting their own business, is going to go far in this 21st century era in which we're living in. Communication skills are absolutely important. The amount of people who will apply for jobs and there are grammatical errors in their emails, just because it's an email form of communication doesn't mean it's any less formal. So people with good communication skills are going to go far. Creative thinking. Businesses exist to solve problems, and whether you're running your own business or thinking of running your own business or you're going for jobs in this era, those people who are more attractive to employers and more attractive to their clients are those who can think creatively and help solve problems. Also, sales and marketing are two key skills. And the interesting thing about this is that these aren't necessarily things that you can do a degree in, but yet these are the kind of sort of soft skills, if you like, that employers need, and that if you're going to run your own business, you need to possess. And finally, common bloody sense. Couldn't help resist putting a comment in there, which is what you often hear Lord Sugar say. Common sense. That's what you need to be able to run a business, and you'd be surprised how often many people do not have common sense. So, just to introduce myself a little bit about me, who I am, why I'm here speaking to you today. My name's Lisa Newton and I run a company called Boogles Limited. A bit about my background, the Boogles story. I'm actually from Nottingham, so anyone listening thinking, what's that accent? Is it Birmingham? Is it Manchester? It is Nottingham, like Robin Hood. Initially, I did my course at college. I did the AAT accounts and the CIM certificate in marketing alongside A-levels. When I finished that, I went to London and I did my degree, which was in accounts and marketing. So many of you out there are students and you would have done a degree or you're completing a degree, so I understand because I have been there. Now, after I finished my degree, I went on and I did a master's in investment management, and a lot of the counterparts, the people on my course, went to go and work in the city, whereas myself, in the same month of graduating with £150, I started my own business. And my inspiration was a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that was just quite simply an eye-opening book, because what that book talks about is what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. And having read that book, I just thought, well, I don't actually want a job, I'm going to start my own business. Kiyosaki, the author, what he says is that in terms of the educational system, the main reason people struggle financially is because they spend years in school but learn nothing about money. And the result is that people learn to work for money, but they never have money work for them. And this is the unfortunate thing, really, with the educational system. Now, My original plan, just to give you some more background, is that I was training and planning to be an accountant, but what happened was I was working with clients, and I've worked with hundreds over the years. I spotted a gap in the market, which was basically their bookkeeping, and I thought, okay, it's the dog's work. Other people don't want to do it, but that's fine. So in my first year in business, I got skilled up. I did acting classes, drama classes, singing, you name it, language classes, IT classes, all sorts, learning different skills, particularly on the communication and on the sales and marketing side of things. Got skilled up. By year 2, I realised I was very busy and I was wearing lots of different hats. So I was doing the bookkeeping, doing the invoicing, finding the clients, selling to the clients, servicing the clients, collecting the money from the clients. Very, very, very busy, doing a lot. And one day I had to pop into my local Halifax, and I spoke to a guy there called Daniel, ended up having a little chat with him, telling him about this business I was running. And he said to me, Lisa, you seem very busy. Why don't you just take on staff? And I thought, you know what? That's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? And that's what I did. I then started to take on staff. I also, during that time, got my membership with the AAT finalized, so became a professional member of them, and also joined the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. So I was just doing all the ticks, if you like. In being able to free myself up from the business, if you like, things really did start to take off, and I won a Young Entrepreneur of the Year award with Precious Online and an Enterprise in Business award and various other awards we got shortlisted for, got to be on TV, got products developed. And I also became an ambassador for a organisation. Doesn't exist now, it's under a different name, but it was called Enterprise UK. But I am still an Enterprise ambassador. They changed their names, but the whole thing is the same. And basically, I'm very, very keen on helping people and encouraging people to start in business. I do believe in enterprise, so I really do enjoy doing these presentations. And this was part of the reason for coining this concept about the 21st century business. Now, unfortunately, many startups fail within their first 3 years, probably because, you know, there's a lot that you have to take in. You do have to wear a lot of hats. There's a lot of juggling, and there is a lack of support, basically. So what is quite interesting now is that the times in which we're living in is that people are going to have to realize that if there is no jobs out there, what you're going to have to do is think about employing yourself. And even the government are behind this with their Startup Britain campaign. So they're putting a lot of money and effort into that. But the difficulty is that they want us all to do this, to start a new business, but yet the school system doesn't really match up. Most people are for their 40-40 plan. So let me just explain what that is. That's the plan whereby you plan to work for 40 hours a week, that's your 9 to 5, for 40 years of your life, at 20 to 60 or 65, to retire off about 40% of what was really never enough in the first place. Now, that's all well and good, but what we're finding is that there's a lot of tough competition out there. Due to the people not saving up, not having enough money, what you're finding is that even pensioners are forced to actually still be in the marketplace. So you're getting all these new graduates, new people coming into the labour market, looking for work. No work exists, and you've got other people who should be off retiring but actually can't afford to retire. So it's tough competition. And so this whole idea about getting a job, but yet, you know, most people, that's their idea, but yet on average, the debt is £29,843 for every person in the UK. Now, the changes. In the 20th century, what we saw was there was a lot of job security, there were pensions, there were jobs, fewer people went to university, much lower credit levels, and the UK had a manufacturing base, something to be proud of. They used to, you know, export cars, all sorts of things, used to make things, export them. In the 21st century, what we now see is a lot more temporary contracts. There's limited pension provisions. they are starting to turn that round again, whereby they will be introducing compulsory payments into pensions for companies. It's going to be introduced over a few years, but that is because people are not paying enough contribution into their pension to support them in retirement. And the reason that is most people will say, I haven't got any spare money, but they're going to be forced into doing that. We're in some sort of recession or depression, depending on who you talk to. Things have never been so bad. Got a lot more graduates in the field now, and the level of debt, personal debt, credit card debt, is very high, very high. And we're now moving into a much more services-based economy. The 21st century worker has just, you know, got it all against them. And, you know, in many ways, it's not just the economic landscape that has changed, but even things like the social landscape has changed. Something like 1 in 2 divorces, 1 in 2 marriages end up in divorce. More family upheavals. It's a strain on the finances. People are realizing that they're going to probably have a series of careers as opposed to one job for life. We're competing in this global marketplace. It's not just your next door neighbor who might be going for that job. It could be someone around the other side of the world. So this is the changing environment in which we're in. On the high street, if you looked at it lately, it all seems to look the same. So it's kind of like, you know, a time to think about what's going on. How are you going to survive in this era? How are you going to support yourself when your working days are over? How can you work once and get paid for it over and over again? How are you going to build this business that you're thinking of? How can you, you know, get that work-life balance in place and be able to live the life you kind of always dreamt of? And for those who are in debt, student debt, credit card debt, how can you repay that debt and yet still have enough left over and have time for yourself? Problem is, it's not that people plan to fail, it's what it is that they fail to plan. So where do we begin? What I'm going to do is just outline a few of the options, and then I'll go into the 21st century business model. So for most people, one of these options will jump out at them in A to Z order. You've got employment, franchising, the internet, network marketing, property, self-employment, or stocks and shares. So these are all sort of vehicles you can decide on how you're going to go for freedom, set yourself free in this 21st century. So in deciding on the vehicle, and this is just a copy of the front page of my book I'll come back to, the key thing is that you need to determine your objectives, what it is that you want to achieve. Then you need to establish the strategy by deciding on the vehicle that's going to help you get to where you want to go. Then you implement your strategy, and then ongoing you monitor how you're going. Sometimes it's not that you're going to be on the one vehicle forever, but it could just be your stepping stone. It's all about what your plan is and whatever you want to achieve, whatever your objectives are. So let's just take each one at a time. Employment, you can look for a job or even work part-time whilst you also start your business. Most people think, oh, you know, if you start a business you have to throw yourself into it full-time. Not necessarily. You might want to be working part-time and be running your business part-time on the side. And when you see that your business starts to take off, then you can let the job go. There's nothing wrong with that. Franchising. Buying a franchise is basically you buy a proven business model, replicate the success. Completely up to you, but with many franchises, the startup costs can be quite prohibitive, and most people might like the idea but perhaps don't have the funds or the resources to go for that option. Very attractive option is to start an internet-based business. Literally this whole idea you work from home in your pajamas. Google can help you do that. So internet, very attractive proposition. Network marketing. You can find a network marketing company that has products or services you can sell and get excited about, build a team and earn residual income. It's very important to find a product or service that matches you, but the key thing is that product or service has already been developed, can be quite a good way Property. Buy, build, renovate, manage, let a property portfolio. Literally have the tenants pay your mortgage. This is a picture here of Donald Trump, very famous American billionaire property investor. Or self-employment. You can think of your own business idea, do some market research and give it a go. And finally, the stock market. You can look for undervalued stocks to buy, sell or trade, whether it's commodities, currencies or companies. Now, the characteristics of a 21st century business, and this is what's outlined in the book. The key things, regardless of what you choose to do, whatever vehicle you go for, these are the key things you need to be thinking of if you're going to go for that model, be it whether you're starting your own business, you're going for self-employment, or whether you're opting for a franchise, whatever it might be. Number one, cash flow. I'm going to go through each of these individually. You've got to look at the entrepreneurial aspect. Century is an acronym, so we're just going to go through what each word stands for. N is for network. T is for technology. U is for unlimited. R is for residual. And Y is for you. So, in any business endeavor that you are thinking of taking in the 21st century, these are the things, this century acronym, you need to be bearing in mind. Okay, let's take each one at a time. So first of all, cash flow. The ideal business in this day and age isn't one which invoices and says, you know, pay me in 28 days and has to wait and hang about for their payment. The ideal business today is one whereby cash is flowing and you're getting paid either cash upfront or on delivery, or better still, in advance. So there's none of this, oh, I'll owe you, and you know, no. You get your cash up front, then you deliver the product or service. And any business you want to get into, ideally, that's the pattern you want. You want your cash first, deliver second. Often, what's happened with a lot of these companies that are in credit crunch or in this sort of crisis we're having at the moment is that they have a lot of cash owed to them, a lot of debt is outstanding, and that has caused knock-on problems because people haven't paid their bills as they're falling due. Next one is this entrepreneurial aspect. In your business, you want to be different, and you need to be able to stand out because most people are doing things the same. And if you can be entrepreneurial, you can think, you can spot a gap, you can see how a product could be marketed or sold in a different way, in a better way, you're much more likely to be successful. So being creative, entrepreneurial, willing to stand out from the crowd, that will help you in your business. So any business you're undertaking, it needs an entrepreneurial flair. Okay, network. Very key. Whether you have a network of customers, and this is literally your database, or you have a network being of a supply chain, you need a network of people, businesses, services around you supporting you in your business. Buying from you, you can buy from them. But a network is, if you just think of a net, almost like, I don't know, a safety net or a fishing net, it's a supportive structure. So whether it is that you have a team of people around you or a mastermind group, or you're just surrounding yourself with the right people, your network is very, very important. And what they say is that if you count the 5 people who you spend the most time with, call them your 5-finger friends, your net worth is equivalent to the average of the 5 people in your network. So if you've got 5 friends and on average their incomes are all £10,000, chances are that's your income too, the average. So your network is directly, you know, related to your net worth. So think about who you spend a lot of time with. Birds of a feather flock together. Next, T. The T in technology stands for this idea that you need to, in your business, have some sort of, not just a web presence, which is where the www comes in, but also the fact that you're using technology in your business. So this isn't about, you know, you having to do everything, but where can you use and harness the power of technology to communicate, get your message across? For example, YouTube doing videos, Facebook having a fan page. It's harnessing technology to your advantage. Any business operating today needs to be making the most of these tools. And the beauty of most of this, for example, all the logos you can see on the screen, is that they're free. And this is, we're in a unique position in the 21st century because, you know, just 10 years ago, Twitter didn't exist, neither did Facebook, neither did YouTube. So they are here, and they're tools that you can use. MailChimp's another one to get your message out to your audience, to your database. So you need to be making the most of technology. Unlimited. Now when I say unlimited, any business in the 21st century, key thing is that you need to be not almost constrained by time, which is why the timer's there, nor even space, which is why we've got a globe. So preferably your product or service, whatever that might be, whatever it is that you're thinking of or you're considering, or maybe you've even started, in an ideal world there should be no limits. So you want to be able to serve customers all around the world. You don't want to be selling time for money because there's only 24 hours in a day. Even if you've got staff, there's only still 24 hours in their day. There's limits to these things. Whereas if you've got a product or some sort of service or some sort of ability to be able to provide your product or service en masse without any constraints, it also means therefore your income won't be constrained because you're unlimited. So wherever there are limits or almost caps on your capacity, remove them and clear out all limits. Residual, very, very, very key in any business. Whether you're thinking of it or you've started it, you need to build in some aspect of residual income into that business model. Let me give you an example. Say you were, for example, selling printers. I've got one on my desk. Selling printers. That would be a one-off sale. And it's great you can sell printers around the world. But the residual, or at least the repeat business coming from that, is that when that printer runs out of ink, you can provide your customer with ink. So they'll come back to you to get some ink. So that's a good way of having some sort of repeat purchase. Residual, however, is actually even better than that because it's whereby you'd get paid without actually doing further work. So it's this idea of working once and getting paid for it over and over and over again. If you think of an artist like Michael Jackson or Madonna, they've created songs, they've got a catalogue of songs going back 10, 20, 30 years. Huge database of songs. Anytime their song's played, anytime anybody buys their song, they're getting, or their estate, should I say, is getting a percentage, a residual money. They created and worked once very hard to create that song or that video, but they're getting paid residually. So whatever your product or service is, how can you capture some sort of residual or repeat purchase aspect of that business? Residual money will just keep on going up, going up, going up, going up. And then finally, it is all about you. And although I say it is about you, in a way, your business shouldn't just be solely based around you. So we have this picture in the corner here of different people. And it's this idea of having a network of people around you, having a team. And if you're putting 5 hours into your business and you've got 3 people also putting 5 hours into your business, then you've actually got 20 hours being put into your business. So this is this idea of leverage. So never build your business or your concept or your model around yourself if you can help it. If you're Michael Jackson, okay. But if you're not, then you need to somehow capture the essence of your product or service and get it out to the marketplace without necessarily physically having to deliver it yourself. In addition to that, when I say it's all about you, it's really important. You know, you're on webinars like this, which is absolutely fantastic, but you know, you read books, personal development, and you continue to grow, because as you grow, your business will grow as well. So it's this idea of just constantly being expanding the whole mindset. Now, in terms of a 21st century model, back to Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, he has written several books. One is called The Prophecy, another one's called Cash Flow Quadrant, and on this screen we can also see he's done another one called The Perfect Business. And in this book, he recommends network marketing as the perfect business for the average person to create wealth, a perfect 21st century business. He's even written a book with Donald Trump, which is the property billionaire on the other slide, saying network marketing is the industry for people who want to change lives. So as a 21st century business model, it's one worth considering because it does tick all the boxes. Network marketing is also known as direct sales, referral marketing, multi-level marketing, MLM, word of mouth marketing, but basically it's sales and marketing. And on one of the first slides we saw what are the key sort of skills, the valuable skills in the 21st century. Sales and marketing is key. That's really what it all boils down to. If you can't sell, or no one in your business can sell, you really don't stand a chance regardless. So get good at selling, very important. Referral marketing is something that you participate in whether you're aware of it or all the time. You know, have you ever recommended a good book or a great place to eat or a very good film? Most people have at some point. And did you get paid? Probably not. You recommend things every day. Even when we think about it, if we come back to Facebook, Facebook has got something like 500 or 600 billion, no, 5 million users, 500 million around, or just over 500 million users globally. Didn't advertise anywhere, didn't have to. It was friends telling friends, saying, yep, get on Facebook, I'll Facebook you. And as a result, the value of that business has grown enormously. But did anyone who has recommended their product or service benefit from any of that? Probably not. So basically, all network marketing does is just utilize independent agents that a company wouldn't otherwise have reached, but those agents get paid for their referrals. So ideal 21st century business, working from home, no staff, no boss, not selling your time for money, very, very important. And it's all about creating an asset. So many of these businesses that you see popping up that are actually very household names very quickly, a lot of them have been internet based. So, you know, a lot of them, if you read the stories, Facebook being one of them, started from a dormitory room, and they have created an asset, something very valuable, which they can then go on and sell. And what you're looking at is mentorship, support, no experience necessary. Ideal 21st century business. Just a few benefits of when you do start your own business and things go well. There's recognition, it's lovely. There's holidays you can take, call them business trips or incentives. Brilliant. And you know, for those of you who haven't started yet but are thinking, just think about what that extra income could mean for you. Everyone's got their own reasons for wanting to start a business, and for some it's retirement, for some it's the house, the car, for others they just want to have more leisure time, donate to their favorite charity, or just, you know, actually get to have more time off and sit on a beach somewhere or something. So, preparing for the future. There is a statistic that says by the age of 65, out of 100 workers, 1 in 100 will be wealthy, 4 in the 100 will be financially independent, 41 will be working, and 54 will be dead or dead broke. So, ask yourself where you want to be, think about the plan, and I do wish you all the best of luck.